No, it doesn't work, right?
There's a child here, that's
What's this? Ah, yes, it's that big crown the Lewis Power friendship was wearing. Yeah, it's tacky as a full ornament. And now it's worth just as much. Now then, let's pick up some chaos.
Ladies and gentlemen, Journey of the Spark! Mr. Eric Ryder, Journey of the Spark! Zachary Holcomb, lead vector artist! Chris Mefford, vector artist! Dylan Reynolds, concept artist, I believe. Puppet artist, yeah! This was a surprise. Eric didn't know this was happening. We kind of ruined it at one point, but still.
I think you were still kind of surprised, right?
Yeah.
I was absolutely amazed by that.
So this is a little something myself and 9 others on the project, Chris included, have worked on over the past few months, just for this convention, just to kind of surprise you guys, give you guys something a little extra special. I hope you liked it.
Yeah.
Well, that scene will not actually be... Chris, no one likes you.
Yeah.
Well, that scene will not actually be in the film. It's a little teaser of the kind of animation you'll see, and some of the themes, as well as Discord is the villain in the movie.
All right, hi everybody. Welcome to the Journey of the Spark panel. I'm actually very excited to actually be presenting this to all of you. Actually, this is probably the biggest turnout that I've actually seen for this so far. I did not expect this many people, actually. That's probably me just being honestly humble. But anyways, Journey of the Spark. What is it? What is it about? And what are you guys going to expect from it? Well, Journey of the Spark, as it's been labeled multiple times from my mouth and on Tumblr and all these things, it's the very first fan-animated movie based on My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. It's the biggest undertaking in the Brony community in terms of fan animation, as it's a movie that we literally think could possibly run at 2 hours and 15 minutes long. So it is an epic, it's an adventure film. It's a dramatic story that revolves around Twilight Sparkle and the rest of the main 6, the princesses, and of course our main villain of the film, Discord, who, as you've heard, is voiced by Reagan Murdoch, otherwise known as the voice actor behind Discord in Epic Wub Time. So, in case you guys have actually watched that. So, the story for Journey of the Spark is basically pretty much Twilight Sparkle one day causes an event so catastrophic that it forces every single one of her friends, including Princess Celestia and Luna and all of them, to completely turn their backs on her. And so Twilight, completely guilt-stricken for what she's caused, eventually comes across the statue of Discord. This is a story that takes place in between seasons 2 and 3. And pretty much, Discord convinces Twilight to strike a deal with him that completely forces her, away from everybody that she loves, and allows Discord to break free of his stone prison and finally go after the thing that he's wanted for a long time, and that's to rule Equestria once again. So now, as things start to become much more intense and much darker, Twilight's friends, Princess Luna and Spike, must now journey far beyond the reaches of Equestria to find Twilight and rekindle their friendship, if they wish to not only restore the elements of harmony, but to save Equestria from the forces of evil once again. So, today, we're going to show you some progress that we've actually made on the film. So, Zach, would you actually care to do us the honors of actually showing us a little bit of what we got?
Sure, if you hit the space bar for me.
Okay.
All right, first up, we've got an amazing concept by one of our concept artists, Ken. I don't know how much I can really say about it. It's pretty. It's in the movie. It's really blue.
Dubba-dee-dubba-die.
Well, we can say what it actually is. Yeah. All right, so actually, this is actually something that we're really doing that's really unique with the movie is that we're actually creating new places for existing things you've seen in the show. This is actually Discord's tower. This is actually a place inside the Kennerlot Labyrinth in the gardens. This is actually the place in the movie where the statue of Discord is actually held. So can we show the next slide? And this right here is actually a background that we're using for animation. This was actually this was a multiple step process that we actually did. The entire design of it was actually done by our assistant director, Jan Engel. And then the color scheme was done by, again, our concept artist, Ken Nystrom. And then it was vectored by one of our vector artists, Dalton. Dalton, yeah. And then finally, it was brought into After Effects, which we then added some visual effects to play around with lighting to give it this final touch right here. And I don't know, what do you guys think of it? Look pretty cool, right? Yeah. Right, so this is actually going to be featured in final animation, and we wanted to play around with lighting and everything like that to give it a much more cinematic feel. We're trying to bump up animation standards from the show to fit movie quality and cinematic standards, and this is kind of an example of what we're doing. We added a bit of fog, you know, to kind of give it a much more ominous feel, and looks pretty impressive actually. So let's show them else what we got. So this one I can actually talk about, but I need to be very vague on this one. This is actually a concept design for a dragon that is going to be somewhere in the movie. I don't know. But you guys are probably going to notice that he's missing one of his wings. What the heck is up with that? Basically, the reason for that is because we wanted to get a little bit more of a feel of his anatomy, you know, how exactly he would actually work when we actually put him into animation. So our concept artist, our lead concept artist, Sarah Williams, who's also the voice of Rarity and Princess Luna in the film, she basically drew this out. In fact, a majority of the concepts that you're going to see for this panel are all done by Sarah. So they're all done by Sarah, so they're all, you know, very impressive stuff. She's a great artist. This one was done a long time ago, but we've never shown it to the public until now. This has been kept within like the Journey of the Spark records for a while. So yeah, it's a very impressive design. Let's show what else that we have. All right, so Zach, you actually want to talk a little bit more about this one because you actually vectored some of these and put them into show style.
Sure thing. What do we have here? I'm going to actually steal these from you because these are kind of special. This is a dress for Fluttershy, the concept design, and I have it here with me actually today. You're going to be able to bid on this at the charity auction. All these dress concepts that you're about to see, you're going to be able to bid on the charity auction. All profits go toward Bronies for Good, right?
Yes, correct.
And at Midwestria, when we had this design, it went for $75 alone. 75, almost 80, yeah.
And now there's a vectored form of it that's finalized.
Yep. Here it is.
So these are all going to be going as auction sets. Included with those is going to be a poster signed by all of the cast and crew here that is sitting on the panel. Not left track.
I'm not allowed to sign things anymore.
He broke the last thing I gave him to sign, so.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't realize there were ashes in that vase.
I'm sure my grandma forgives you.
I'm sorry. That got dark. Hey, we want to take our kids seriously, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually another concept that was done by Sarah. This is actually a dress for Pinkie Pie. And we also have this in vectored form if we actually can show that off. Spacebar, please. Okay. So this was actually done by one of our vector artists, Nick Fleming. He's actually one of our most recent vector artists that we actually brought onto the team. He came onto the team just a few weeks ago. But this is actually what, when we basically try and bring these into vector form, sometimes what we do is that we actually just do vectored versions of the concepts. Like they're not even finalized, but sometimes we just mess around with vectors to see if they'll actually fit within the show style animation and if they can be doable. So that's kind of why we've had these dresses actually for a while. Sometimes we do costume design, you know, just for the sake of doing a little bit of costume design to see if it'll actually, you know, see what we can work with. But this one's really good. And then the next one, actually, this is a dress design for Twilight. So Zach, you want to explain this a little bit?
We don't have a vectored version for this yet because Chris is lazy and doesn't do his job.
You gave me 3 days.
So exactly. It's just going to be the regular old dress for this. There's no vectored version, unfortunately. That'll be something we will probably be releasing on the Tumblr when it is finished.
This is actually released, this is actually finished, I believe, on, I think it's the 8th. Yeah, the 8th of this month, I believe, is when this actually got done. So this is the first time you're ever going to see this. Same thing with Pinkie Pie is the first time you've ever been released to the public.
We're big.
Whoa, yep.
You are all special, by the way.
All right. So now here's one that we did for Applejack, actually. So, yep. So that's one of them that we've actually done. And we have a vectored form of this one too on the next slide. This is what she'll look like in show accurate style. So I like the hair. Yeah, hair's really nice.
I got a question.
I really like her mane.
Where's the hat? Where's the hat?
Andrew, we'll make sure she has a hat at some point.
And it's always on the hat, man.
Oh, is it in the flash file? All right. Okay.
I'd like to mention that all of these are artist signed as well, so they are really special that way, where all the artists have had the opportunity to sign them. I think at this point we're going to open for some Q&A.
Yep.
That's right.
All right, so before we actually do that though, we are always hiring. That should be something that should be very duly noted to a lot of people, is that we are always hiring a lot of people. I mean, it's a very huge undertaking, so I mean, we probably won't be able to do it, and we probably might not be able to like really finish it unless we have a lot of people who are really, you know, dedicated to actually finishing this. Currently, at the moment, with all of the voice actors and every single person that we have on the production so far, we have over 70 people worldwide working on Journey of the Spark to get it finished. And we're hoping to release it sometime for summer 2015, just in time for the summer season and for the convention run that's going on there. But if you guys are interested at all in helping out, and if you don't have artistic skills and you want to, you know people who might be able to help, then these are all of our contact info right now. People can actually shoot us an email at officialsparkmovie@gmail.com. They can also message us on the production blog that we have running. That's probably where we answer most of our questions, is on filmsparkmovie.tumblr.com. We also have a Twitter account. I run it, so if you guys have questions for the movie at all on Twitter, you guys can go ahead and just, you know, tweet me on there, send me a direct message. And then finally, the full released movie, along with any production material that we want to promote with, all goes on our YouTube channel, which is FIM Spark Movie. All right, so that's pretty much all for the presentation portion of the panel. So now we are going to open it up to you guys for Q&A. So Yeah, that's later. That's later if we have time. Don't reveal that yet.
Oh.
Yeah, don't reveal that yet.
Jeez, Member.
All right.
So at this point, this is where I guess I come in, and that is selecting the people with questions. So let's start off with her because she's had her hand up for a while.
What do you think? Do you need Hasbro's permission to do this too? Because there's been a lot of copyright issues on YouTube about some other things about it.
I'm gonna actually hand that over to Zach. He can answer that one better than I can.
Yeah, I get to deal with all the legal issues too, beyond being lead vector artist. Although there have been a lot of legal issues with a lot of different projects in the fandom, and I know people in this room have had their own legal issues as well with Hasbro occasionally. A good example is that Fighting is Magic received a cease and desist, and everyone worries that bigger projects like Journey to the Spark are going to be cease and desisted. Well, I can assure you we haven't received a cease and desist, and we're working with a lawyer as well as Hasbro to kind of iron out some of the details as far as what we're going to be doing for legal permissions.
One of the issues too that Hasbro was doing with you on YouTube, how they're hammering out all that stuff there and saying like you can't do this like that. That's not Hasbro's fault. Hasbro actually finally trademarked the Friendship is Magic, the 4th generation of ponies, which took them the last almost 3 years to do. Actually 4, because they started doing this in 2009 for pre-production. And what ended up happening is since they finally got that one, it finally got into YouTube's Content ID, which is automatic bot. Well, if it reads too similar or too close, it'll start flagging everything and auto-deleting them. That's why Friendship's Witchcraft got taken down, because even though it's a fan dub and a parody and stuff like that, there's enough of the show in it and from the video-esque of it, because it's actually smart enough to read videos as well, that they'll pull them because it's too similar. So now they actually have they have to put it on there. It's a parody, because a parody is one of those flags that'll truncate it and say like, no, it's okay to have this up there. And it is to get the episodes off, because Hasbro is trying to get this to other countries. I know China, for one, basically told them, it's on YouTube, we're not gonna pay to have it broadcasted here. So that's what they're doing. YouTube's doing their own thing. Hasbro's not shelling them for anything like that. It's just that they finally got I believe it's a trademark on the Friendship is Magic name. So it's just automatic bots doing everything that way there is. I know besides Sherklop with Friendship is Witchcraft, I know Fim Flam Philosophy, who does Rainbow Dash Presents and the Mentally Advanced series. I know he has just as much trouble because even though it's a parody, it uses the show to start off with no audio, and then it just pulls the content ID that way.
So yeah, so basically, we've been aware of issues like that from the very beginning, and we're working as hard as we can, to avoid things like a cease and desist. Because that's really the thing, it's like we're currently so far, at least we're the only movie production I think in the community that actually has a chance of actually getting finished. So if it went down, that would just kill a lot of people, I think.
All right, hands again. Let's go with you.
Did you also talk to Workhouse about this?
Okay, so I should probably mention this to a lot of people, like straight from the get-go. Even though I have talked with Lauren, and she's very excited for the movie. She fully supports it and actually really wants to see it. But the thing is, though, is that she does not have any say over the copyrights for Friendship is Magic, which is really odd, because she's the one who created it. But that's just kind of the thing. It's Hasbro's property, so they're immediately the ones, who have the final say in what goes on, like in terms of copyrights. Lauren has no say over it. So even if we, have like the personal approval of the creator of the show, to make this movie, that really does not change a whole lot of stuff in the long run. But no, I've met Lauren twice, and I've talked with her over DeviantArt through messages, and she's very excited to see the movie. She can't wait to see it. We're really excited to show it to her. And if we meet up at, if we go to more conventions that she happens to be going to, I'll, try and talk with her again. So yeah, we're excited about that, at least. I think that's a bragging point.
Do you have anything else?
No.
Okay, hands back. Let's go with you in the back there.
Are you going to try as hard as you can to avoid the Uncanny Valley like Double Rainbow?
No, and what was your second question? I didn't quite hear that.
Are you going to try with all the eye candy validations of Double Rainbow? Eye Candy Valley.
No, which means it's so close that it's bad. It's like that, like Double Rainbow.
Really, I mean, like, that's like, at least like in the animation question anyway, it's like very difficult to like answer those because, I mean, we are trying to get, you know, I mean, as show accurate as possible, but I know that at least for some of the animators that we have on the project, you know, I mean, like, it's not always doable, you know, like to do that because, I mean, it can be done. I mean, most definitely. I mean, like, you see animators like Ask the Crusaders. I mean, like, who's like, but I mean, like, he's a professional. I mean, like, who does stuff like that. I mean, in some cases, I mean, he's been doing it for a while. So, I mean, that's how he's able to do it. But I mean, at least with my expectations with the animation anyway, if it looks good and, you know, a lot of people really like the animation and it definitely meets our quality standards, I think that's really all that matters, you know. Whether or not it's entirely show accurate, I mean, that'll be completely left up to the people who see it, you know. I think that's how I would go about answering that question. If any of you have anything to add on to that I probably might not have mentioned, you can go ahead and do that right now. Anyway. No?
All right. Next question, I guess, hands, let's go with you, right in the front.
What exactly are you still hiring for then? Like, what do you need most?
Primarily animators. That's the big thing. We're looking for a lot of Flash animators, but also we're looking for concept artists who specialize in backgrounds. Because the thing is that, like the Celestia Fountain background that we showed you guys, it first starts off with a black and white grayscale concept that's drawn out, and then it's eventually given a color scheme, and then it's eventually brought into the vector programs that Chris and Zach use in, you know, Ponyscape, in Inkscape, you know, Adobe Illustrator, whatever our vector artists use in the project that bring it into the show style that you guys are so familiar with. And then finally, it's brought into the post-production team, the visual effects artists, who then give it the final touch, basically the version that you guys pretty much saw.
So to specifically answer your question, looking for animators, concept artists, vector artists, storyboard artists, people who are specifically background artists, as well as, I feel like I'm forgetting something. I think that's it. So a lot of artists for UPR.
I'm just gonna steal the mic from you.
Okay, hands back up. You in the Rainbow Dash hoodie, because Rainbow Dash. Oh, Derby hoodie with the Rainbow Dash wings, because Rainbow Dash.
I also have two questions. One, do you take donations?
Okay, I can't answer the donation thing because I am not a producer on the film.
Okay. So we do not any longer take direct donations to the project. However, I know for a fact that I have a personal PayPal you can donate to. Eric has a personal PayPal you can donate to. So you can support the film by supporting those who work for it, those who are on it. Donations given to the Nebraskans don't need as much money because they don't have to travel so far. But but for those of us, we very greatly appreciate in-kind donations to our personal PayPals to help cover travel expenses, personal software updates to work on the film, to, you know, host more panels like this. So no, not directly to the project, but yes, to ourselves individually.
You can make a bunch of those out to laughtrackbrony at hotmail.com.
Okay.
Okay, yes, Mr. Texas.
Yes, I am Mr. Texas. You guys all seem like pretty young guys. What do your parents think of this?
Oh gosh, okay. Okay, wow. All right, so.
What would your mother think?
You know what? Surprisingly, my family is all behind this. I mean, like, my mom thought it was absolutely just, like, weird that I was, like, you know, a fan of this. Like, actually, it was funny because I was actually on I had my Wonderbolts bag that you guys have been seeing, like, me walking around the convention with. And like she saw like all these buttons and everything like that on them, and my mom is just looking at my bag. It's just like, that looks really feminine. So and it was just like, well, it's based on a show that I like. So I mean, when my mom found out that, you know, there was a huge fan base behind this and that I was actually becoming popular for actually, you know, being the director behind this, I mean, she decided to fully support it. And I showed, actually, like, for my birthday party, I think, like, last month, I actually showed them a preview of this project And they're all incredibly excited for it. You know, they're all behind it like 100%, and you know, they want to support it, you know, as much as they can, like to see it to the end, because they're really excited to see it. So I mean, that was it went from like them being like really hesitant about me making it to them like fully supporting me for making it, which was very strange. I actually did not think that that was ever really going to happen. So, anyone else?
I guess this goes back to like when I first was getting into ponies, stuff like that, when I first started vectoring with Photoshop, which never do that ever. Anyway, I was vectoring some stuff beforehand and trying to find like my bearings, stuff like that, and my computer faces like the opposite of my door, so you have to open my door and you'll see me sitting at my computer, so they'll see my monitors. I think it'd been more interesting to explain like more risque stuff on the screen than me vectoring ponies and watching ponies at the same time. It was a little awkward because all she did is my mother opened the door, looked inside, then to close the door. I'm like, oh, this is what it feels like to get caught doing something. So I was just like, okay, I'll explain it to her, and I like showed her all this stuff. I only been a brony since like February last year, but so I showed her some of like the more like, she knows about the Big Lebowski and stuff like that, so I showed her like some of that stuff that's in there, and she's like, oh, I get it, you know. She goes like, fine with this, like whatever you like, it's whatever you like, because I already liked anime, which is already weird enough for the high school I went to. But my father, on the other hand, was a little just like, you know, it's weird, stuff like that. But he was the guy who's all, like, I like video games, stuff like that, and he's always been against that. So, like, this was going to be something like, this is just like this isn't a mountain, this is a 90-degree incline. It's 3 miles tall. So, but he was fine with it to, like, a certain extent, and stuff like that. And it's like, I even told him, like, I think we're driving from Schuyler, my hometown, to Fremont, which is a 30-minute car drive. And he started talking about the ponies, and like, Dad, I said, I know you're trying to do this conversation, but this is just way too awkward for either of us. Let's talk about cars or something.
There you go. My parents don't know I'm here.
My parents do know I'm here. I don't know. As far as the project goes, I don't think I've told them about it. Not because I'd be worried. It just hasn't come up.
You kind of want to explain. You haven't really been able to explain like what you do on the project. You kind of want to explain that to them.
I do the puppet builds, make the characters so that the animators can work with them. You know, make all the mouths, lots of little mouth movements, and lots of eyes, lots of hair.
This guy is insane. He finished like almost all of the main 6, I think, like in less than a month.
He's really good at his job.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
He like, and it's really funny because we only have like 2 puppet builders on the project, which is our assistant director. He actually, Jan and Gel, he created the builds for Twilight Sparkle and Fluttershy. And then this guy over here, you know, basically took those, refined them a little bit, kind of tuned them up, and then he created Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, and I think you're going to be working on Spike soon? Oh, you're working on them right now. Okay. See, you learn something new every day.
Right now.
All right.
He also, for those of you who know of it, created the Pon3Con Create poster that she got at Pon3Con. So
yeah.
that's also him.
Yep.
So, I just figured I'd throw that out there. So, you made Lauren Klaus cry. Awesome. All right, let's
Go day.
Let's see some more. What?
I got a question for Dylan.
You already went.
No, but this is similar in the same. It's like the same question. But all right, so you're in the military, correct?
Yes.
So what do like all your militaries? What do you think of you and the ponies? Like this.
I had to explain a little bit before I left. They asked what I was going to, and I got dragged into a conversation about what bronies are. There had been another one in my office before, so I didn't have to explain much, but apparently all he ever said was, oh, it's a brony thing. So he never explained it much, so I had to explain the show to him, kind of say, it's kind of like Disney where it can appeal to anyone. I don't know.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah. The good Disney films, not the bad ones.
But everyone's pretty accepting of it. I have a very nice bunch of people I work with, so it's been nice.
Just wanted to make a joke because you were saying the good Disney films. It's like, oh, but I like Black Cauldron. Hey, a lot of people hate it, but you know, I love it. I'm a huge fan of like that dark stuff, like you know, Well, I mean, that's kind of funny because, I mean, Journey of the Spark's actually inspired by a lot of 80s fantasy. I mean, like, some of my favorite fantasy movies were, when I was growing up, was stuff like Willow and The Dark Crystal and the Black Cauldron, which is, you know, again, like, you know, some of my, you know, favorite movies of all time. And I basically said to myself, I wanted to make Journey of the Spark in the style of a classic 80s fantasy movie. Because, I mean, Lauren Faust always wanted to do My Little Pony Friendship is Magic as an adventure story, like, every week. More episodes like Dragon Shy, you know, or, you know, like some of the other adventure stories that, you know, they've done throughout the show. I mean, they don't do it as much because, I mean, they, you know, Hasbro basically wanted, you know, more slice of life. And so that's why, you know, Journey of the Spark, I think, became so personal to someone like myself and a lot of the people working on it, is because we wanted to represent Lauren's original vision here on screen. You know, it's an adventure story, it's emotional, it's, you know, it's epic, it's, you know, a lot of these things, and it's a musical for one, so, you know, it's got 8 original songs by Forrest Rain, so, yeah, so if any of you love Forrest Rain's music, he's writing 8 original songs for this movie, and we're working on the first one right now. Oh yeah, Ponyville, yes, he's helping with the music. He co-composed the music for Snowdrop, so, I mean, if you guys are really big fans of that. He's working with us and also our co-composer, Michael Nicolosi. And something else we should actually probably mention too, to get you guys excited for this a little bit. We're actually in talks with Dennis O'Keefe, who is a student at the Ithaca School of Music up in New York. And he contacted us in September when we announced the movie publicly. And we're going to be working with him to have the music that is composed by Michael and Nick to be performed by a live 40-piece orchestra. So more than likely, if it all goes well, Journey of the Spark's score is going to sound like an official movie score. So to accompany all of the visuals and everything. So that's really exciting. I'm very excited for that.
We got a question right in the front row.
All right. More of a curiosity question. You said you're working with a lawyer. I'm just wondering, did you have to go out and hire a lawyer, or did a lawyer like come to you guys or get involved with you guys and it's like doing it pro bono?
This is actually something I can answer. I can't go into the details of it, but he's actually someone who works with the legal department for Everfree Northwest. Because we have plans of possibly presenting a panel for Journey of the Spark at Everfree Northwest. Because since I live out in California, Seattle's only like 2 states away, and it's a 2-hour flight. So I mean, it's not bad at all. But you know, we're talking with him because he is an official lawyer, and he has like lawyer credentials and everything like that. So I mean, we're working closely with him, you know, on all of these things. But I mean, that's as far as I can honestly say. So.
I was just curious if he was a brony.
No. Well, I mean, obviously, if he's working for Everfree Northwest, he probably is.
It's much better than me pretending to be a lawyer, because I just shout. I don't know. I just shout things like hearsay and objection.
Objection!
Objection! Yeah. Doesn't work.
All right. So.
All right. Any more questions? We got a couple. Yeah. Let's go with some unfamiliar hands real quick. You in the back?
So you say you're going to do something with a 40-piece orchestra. Will the score ever be publicly released?
Yes, it will. We're planning on releasing the soundtrack. If the movie's actually very popular, I'm thinking of pulling like that thing, you know, out of my butt, like how Hollywood producers do, where it's like you have the standard edition that basically maybe has like 2 tracks from the score, and then all of it is the songs, and then it's like, boom, deluxe edition has all of the entire score on there for you. You know, it's just like I'm hoping to do something like that anyway. No, I want people to. I want to release the score and the music and everything like that. It's all going to be recorded, you know, and we're releasing tracks from the soundtrack already. The music that you actually heard in the little promo that we had with Discord that I had no idea that you were making. That's actually a track that's actually been released publicly. It's a track called Magical Friendship and was composed by Michael Nicolosi. So sounds very akin to William Anderson's work on Friendship is Magic. Yeah, it sounds very similar in style. So it's awesome. Any more questions?
All right, you?
I just had a similar question
question. I was wondering if you were gonna, like you said that you don't know if you're gonna be able to finish the project, but you would still like release the music and stuff like that, even if you can't finish it.
You know, I mean, really, there's quite a few things, honestly, about what I would plan on doing. I mean, you know, I want everybody to really experience the story, you know, the way that we want to basically, we want people to experience it with visuals and everything like that. I mean, it's one thing to read the script and then to listen to the music, but like, if you imagine all of that stuff basically combined together, it's an amazing experience, you know, and we want people to see it visually. You know, I mean, we've gotten a lot of compliments on the script. I mean, probably, I think a lot of people have actually said that out of the fan projects, I think our script is probably like the most faithful to the source material. I don't know if I could really agree with that or not, but you could agree with that?
I'd agree with that, yeah.
Me too.
It's a good script. You know.
If I can actually say something real fast, all right? If the movie isn't able to happen, I'd be happy to go through Broadcast and release it as a radio drama for you guys. So
that would be great.
So if the movie can't happen, at least we can get the work out there in some way.
Yeah.
From there, we can move on to another question. You, Shining Armor?
Yeah. Okay. So then you mentioned that you've shown the script and pieces of work to a couple of people and got a really good reactions. Are you worried at all that you're just getting a lot of like yes men, like?
No. Some people, I mean, a lot of people on the project were incredibly skeptical of Journey of the Spark when we talked about it. Because when I think like something that you guys should probably understand is that when Journey of the Spark was in its infancy, there was already a pony movie in the works. It was called Project Saturation. And some of you probably don't know what that is, and probably for a good reason, because the production on that, it was a nightmare for a lot of the people working on it. Drama and conflict, ultimately what dragged that thing down, you know, to its death, pretty much. And eventually, the people who were working on the project eventually went and formed Silly Philly Studios, you know, and they eventually went on to make stuff that's, you know, doing very well for them. But a lot of those people, you know, they were really skeptical of making another movie or signing on to it. They didn't know if Journey of the Spark was even remotely going to have legs. And a lot of people were looking at me and the story and a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do as way too ambitious. You know, they thought that there is no way in a million years this kid, you know, this 19 or something year old who's still in college is ever going to make a 2-hour and 15-minute animated movie based on this show. And at that time, I probably would have agreed with them because, I mean, I don't have knowledge in animation. I mean, I don't know how to draw, but, you know, I've always been passionate about film. I mean, I've always been incredibly, you know, passionate about what I do. And, you know, I've like learned a lot about film, you know, and I'm learning a lot even in college now. So the big draw is that even though I didn't have experience, or I don't have experience in the parts where it's gonna matter, at least I have some sort of sense of what I'm doing, you know. And, you know, when people read the script and when people saw that I was actually capable of actually directing it, a lot of them just started changing their minds, and a lot of them were actually thinking, you know, maybe this could actually happen. Maybe it could actually become a reality. So, I mean, I'm hoping, here's hoping anyway, that I can prove them wrong.
Based off the clips I've seen and like the rough animatic, that's what makes me confident in whatever the script is. You know, so that when the final project is eventually released, I know I'm really excited for it. You know, that's why I offered to MC the panel, is because I have such faith in this project and I really want to see it come to life. Oh, one last, all right, it looks like we have time for one more question, so let's put all the hands up if you've had a question.
All right.
At all?
All right, so do we have any more questions? We can take one more, and then we've got a few more things to show.
Okay, how about you? I don't want to be biased, but, yeah.
Hi, Emmy.
So what made you, like, decide to wake up one morning and be like, I'm gonna make a movie? Because it seems like a pretty big undertaking.
Oh, gosh, that's a long story, man. Huh? Well, the abridged version of it, because, I mean, that's a long story, really. Okay, so, It did not start off as a movie like Zach said. It started off as an audio drama. Wasn't even based on Friendship is Magic. It was based on a parody show that I was doing called My Little Pony: The Brony Edition. It's an improvisational comedy show that I do. But basically, we haven't developed enough of the parody series, and we wanted to make Discord the main villain, and we were just like, well, we're not going to be able to do it, honestly. I mean, it's just going to be like, we don't have enough material to work with. So then I just decided, well, why don't we just make it a Friendship is Magic movie? And because we were already getting a huge fan base, and like we were already, we were already getting like a huge fan base and everything like that, and it was just becoming, oh my gosh, get that back to the, okay, sorry. We're gonna show you something in a bit, but anyway, what I was saying, anyway, was that, gosh, I completely lost focus because that distracted me. Thank you very much. Anyway, let me just finish it up, anyways. So basically, we were already getting a fan base for Journey of the Spark at a very early age when it wasn't based on Friendship is Magic. And some of those people who were fans included our assistant director, Jan Engel, who originally signed on as the art director. And eventually, once I got in contact with Meredith Sims, and she got onto the project and she was very excited for it and everything, it just blew up. And it became something that I didn't even dream of. It just blew itself out of proportion to the point where I was just like, you know what, this can't be an audio drama anymore. It needs to be a movie. And it just went from there.
All right, and on that note, we are done taking questions because I think you guys have another little thing we have to show.
Yes.
But before we show that, I want to thank you all for taking the time to come to Journey of the Spark.
Journey of the Stark.
Now starring Robert Downey Jr. as Twilight Starkle.
Yeah, unbeknownst to all of you, once this movie's done, we're working with Marvel. Anyway.
Yeah. Shh, you're not supposed to tell them yet.
It'll be after Avengers 2.
It's cool. We're putting it into the Marvel universe.
Can we get the lights again? So
yeah. Can someone dim the lights one more time?
So this is another.
Someone back there.
So actually, I'm kind of curious. Who were the people who animated the Discord promo?
Who worked on the first promo you saw? Danny, our lead animator, animated that. I did the vector art myself. Yeah, Danny did a good job. We worked with the open source Spirito build. Seth. Another one of our animators did a lot of Folly sounds. I did all the audio engineering, the vector art. Mike, our new producer, did the storyboards as well as the ideas and the general layout for it.
Oh, really?
Yep. I'm trying to think who else. Jan consults on the project.
Yep. This was actually a promo that we released. Oh, pause it again. Damn it. I did not give you the... Okay, I'm sorry. This was actually a promo that we released at Midwestria last year, so it's a little bit old to some people, but it'll be new to you guys. So to give it kind of just a very basic thing, this is Twilight, lost in a dark forest. So here we go.
Push the button now?
Yes, now you can push the button.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for attending the Journey of the Spark panel. Up next, we have Hot Diggity Demons panel. But
I actually have one last thing.
Oh.
As a thank you to Laugh Track for being the kind moderator of this panel, we have a signed movie poster for all the panelists for him. It's special. After the panel, we'll be here for a little while, handing out a few posters, taking autographs and individual questions from you guys. We'll be out front if you want to talk to us, because we got to let Hot Diggity Demon get in here and do his stuff.
Oh my God.